A Silver-Eyed Girl's Godly Companion by Mr. Unorthodox, Chapter 10. Hey, diary, long time no see. Or is it long time no, right? No. No? Oh, fine. Anyway, hey, it's me, Ruby. So, first things first, Naruto's friends are really weird. Not Blake being outgoing weird, more like Nora not wanting to eat pancakes without a reason weird. They're that weird, some more than others, like that Ongo lady. But they're very nice, except that really, really weird girl who was following us nearly all the time. And she was also giving me the stink eye most of the time. We were in the same room. I think she hates me. Don't know why though. Naruto probably knows why she's like that, but he just said to me that Hinata, that's her name, is just the plain weird. Though I know he's hiding something, but it's probably for the best that I don't know, for now at least. I'm gonna ask him about it later. Anyway, even though we were just there for 2 days and one night, it was a very nice visit. Could do without Naruto duking it out with Crescent's godmother, Sasuke, though. It was so loud, but it was still very cool. Also, Sasuke looked somewhat like Uncle Crow's sister Raven. Just saying, so yeah, I think that's about. Mm. One buxom blonde brawler named Yang Xiaolong moaned out as Blake Baldano nibbled on her lips and squeezed her derriere, not wanting to be idle. She had her right hand slid up and down her partner's back, memorizing all of her curves and counters, with the other going through the luxurious black mane of her poisonous flower. She then felt Blake separate from their gentle yet passionate lip lock, making her give out a small whine of protest before suddenly gasping for air because out of a sudden attack of her neck. Then she wanted in return the feeling of pleasure, slipping her hands underneath Blake's shorts and promptly seizing the two mounds of flesh with her hands, making the brunette moan into her neck. Yang, wanting to further their actions, maneuvered a hand around and dared a finger to come closer to the Belladonna's nether regions, right palm resting right above the cat fawn's bush and middle finger running near the touch-sensitive nerve bundle. Yang earned an appreciative meow and began to insert a finger inside Blake's honeypot. After getting an appropriate moan, Yang began to drag her left hand across Blake's body as light as she can, eliciting a small shiver from her before stopping at her partner's right breast and gave it a soft squeeze and then re-engaged the kiss. Blake's mind, hazy as it was with the feeling of pleasure, produced a small suggestion to her, one which she decided to follow. So with that in mind, she then proceeded to snake a hand inside Yang's shorts, just as the blonde did minutes ago to her before, without warning, insert a finger inside the Xiaolong's anal cavity, making said blonde stop her actions and yelp in surprise. Too much? Blake breathed out tiredly, and inserted fingers being slowly removed, making the blonde brawler moan once more. No, keep it, Whatever else Yang was about to say was interrupted by the sudden birth of a black vortex, followed by her sister and her extended family's sudden appearance. Were back. Oh my gosh, Crescent, cover your eyes. Moments later, really? In the living room? Ruby asked the two girls who sat at the couch opposite to the one she and Naruto were occupying, Crescent having been sent to their room much to her confusion, breaking the silence that invaded the room. Why? I mean, you both have rooms. Uh, Yang started only to falter when she realized she had no answer. I've not got nothing. Me neither. Blake intoned from her position, her head bowed with her cheeks reddened. Maybe they Naruto's sentence was silently cut short by the abrupt opening of the door, revealing one Shnee Harris and a bow wearing Ginger, both carrying a couple of bags. What's going on? Whist asked after setting down the bag she's carrying, noticing the somewhat awkward tension surrounding the blonde bombshell and the cat ear. Wait, what? Blake, you're a faunus? Oh my, how lively you people are. The pale, freckled girl then decided that it was apparently the best time to speak, which it really wasn't. Next day, late morning, Beacon Academy, headmaster's office. Ring, 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 ring. We have a situation. A man's voice sounded off from a scroll. Situation. Last I checked, everything was fine. The call receiver, a man named Osman, responded, taking a moment to look away from the day's paperwork to look at Atlas's famous or infamous, if others were to be asked, general, and his fellow headmaster, James Ironwood. Perhaps I should have been clear. An impending threat will come upon Remnant in a few decades or so. General Ironwood clarified, lips creased into a frown, or rather, a few years after the threat of the Grim has completely vanished, and even you said that it will be happening not too far from now, and with that threat gone, a war is very much inevitable, yes. Ospen finished the snow-themed general's hanging statement. He then took a moment and took hold of his ever-so-present mug of hot cocoa to take a sip before speaking once more. This is very much true. If the Grim were to truly disappear, and apparently my speculations were proven wrong, you don't have to worry, my friend. Somewhat startled by Osman's complete confident tone, James' eyes fluttered to a blink before narrowing ever so slightly. Why so? Well, Osman started, pausing momentarily to wet his lips. Why else, my fellow headmaster? Why worry about a problem that never existed? Yang's thought, of course. She was nervous, terribly so. She knew, oh fucking hell, did she know that she was in trouble? Deep shit. And it's all her fault. Half of it at least. Not that she's gonna, not that she isn't gonna take responsibility, no. Because she will. She'll even take her girlfriend's, Blake's, punishment for herself if they ever decided to, well, punish them. The thing was, they hadn't even talked about it yet. Being busy and all, they didn't even had the chance to talk about it this morning because of Waste confronting Blake about the latter's species and the strange orange jet, who surprisingly enough isn't Nora, and her strange tendencies. Though the early morning recess was already past, the Rose Uzumaki duo still hadn't approached the subject. Instead, Crescent and Ruby talked excitedly about Naruto's former home with Team Juniper, with the guy himself giving his part of the banter every few while. While John, Ren, and Pyra were all listening, Nora, she was spending most of her time in a staring contest with the other Orangeette, Penny Palladina, and even though she's thankful that they didn't mention her illicit activities, it still made her somewhat nervous. Guess she just has to wait it out. Lunch was next, after all. And then she made this huge purple woman thing. It had wings, armor, and weapons. Ruby explained, hands spread wide in an exaggerated manner. She, her team, Naruto and Crescent, Penny, Paladina, and Team Juniper were all walking towards the cafeteria, with Ruby telling her experience in the hidden leaf to those around her. It was so cool. It wasn't that cool, Naruto mumbled. My tailed beast form is way cooler than Sasuke Susanoo. Huh, you jealous, but? Ruby teased him, poking him on the sides. Yours is better. I just haven't seen Sasuke's before. Yeah, yours is more cool than Godmother's, Crescent initiated from her spot on his shoulders. Hers has wings, she added with a mumble. Not that mumbling helped her anyway. I could also do wings. It's just, are you guys seriously avoiding our talk? Yang interrupted whatever Naruto was gonna say, her tone decidedly angry and frustrated. Of course, what she said just earned her questionable looks, barring Naruto and Ruby, but left it at that. The crescents and pennies were more of the childish curiosity sort than anything else. Before Yang could talk again, Ruby spoke up. Just do it in your room next time. Of course, that wasn't the answer Yang was expecting at all. That's it? She practically yelled, uncarry of the looks sent her group's way. Yep, that's it. Huh, maybe she shouldn't have overthought it. Hours later, nighttime, Team Ruby's dorm, Rose Uzumaki room. Between the mind-numbing history lessons from Professor Dr. Oobleck and the dangerous trek through the Emerald Forest with Professor Peach, Ruby couldn't help but feel that the day went by quickly as she lay down with her husband on their bed, with her on the left and him on the right, with their daughter wedged between them, both of them facing the little whirlpool Rose. Our daughter, she mumbled, right hand caressing her little daughter's head, with the corner of her lips twitching into a smile. Our beautiful, precious daughter. Even weeks after Crescent's birth, so to speak, Ruby still couldn't help but feel utter elation when holding her. She suspects, no, rather she knows that years, decades even after, she'd still feel the same joy whenever she looks at the little girl between her and her husband. Husband. Now there's a thought. Never in her life did she imagine being married at such a young age, much less be a mother, yet here she is, before meeting her self-proclaimed knuckle-headed husband. All her thoughts were focused mainly on becoming a huntswoman, on her studies, and on her family. She never gave thought to boys much, never mind starting a family of her own. Now, though, she couldn't even bear the thought of living without either of the people sleeping alongside her, and she would do anything. Hey, Naruto, her husband's hoarse and sleepy voice distracted her from her thoughts. Having trouble sleeping? No, she replied, her voice loud so he could hear her, but quite enough as to not wake the little girl between them. I'm fine. Just just lost in thought. Yeah, what are you thinking about? Naruto asked once more, his voice a little less hoarse and a little more awake. Hey, Ruby softly intoned. Hmm? He hummed, ignoring the fact that he didn't get an answer for his question. I love you, she whispered, right hand reaching his left, lips molded into a soft smile. I love you too. He gave her his own soft smile, intertwining their fingers together. And I love the two of you too. A somewhat squeaky voice, half said, half shouted, startling the two at the sudden interjection that came from the space between them. Crescent, go back to sleep. Why are you still awake? Extra. What happened to Amber? Ever had a near-death experience? Had something important get stolen from you? Get comatose, have your body slowly deteriorate, and then just when things are looking a little more dreary, a little more hopeless, they get saved by some deity of all things. Not necessarily in that order, of course, but still. So, ever experienced that? No. Well, Amber did, and it was stressful to say the least. After all, who wouldn't be stressed after all of those? Not Amber, though only saying that would be redundant. Anyway, after being healed by her injuries and having the stolen half of her power be replaced by a perfect, well replacement, she then spent the day after that to properly train in using her fall maiden powers, something that she hasn't been able to do before, which was the cause to her defeat. Then, after getting a better grasp on her gift, she went to look for this deity that had healed her because of the fact that she wanted to thank them, not to mention the fact that she also wanted to see them for herself. Now, when Professor Ospen described this god as benevolent, giving, free spirited, etc., she was sorta expecting some fellow with long white hair, a halo above their head, and 12 or so wings of pure white downing. When she met him, though, through an appointment set up by Miss Goodwitch, of all people, she certainly wasn't expecting clawed hands, pronounced canines, a pair of horns, weird eyes, whiskers, nor 10 vulpine tails, especially the tails. How is that even possible? Of course, facing some with such a fair looking fellow, Though some would say demonic, albeit a handsome one, she felt slightly panicked. Oh dear gods above and below, she thought at the time that her soul was to be the price in exchange for her revival. With all Professor Osmond's opinions and comments about the guy all but forgotten, her first thought then was to attack the guy, collateral damage be damned, and have him give her soul back to her. The idea was then stumped flat when the guy's attention turned to her, immediately smiling at her. Despite the somewhat intimidating smile because of the pronounced canines, she approached him warily. She then spent the next couple of minutes talking to him, or rather asking him questions after questions, with him answering what he can truthfully. Why shouldn't I? I can help you, so I did. I know I can't save everyone, so I try to save those who I can. Taken aback, she realized then and there that he was a good man, one with flaws, as he admitted himself. Then again, no one's perfect. Well, he's almost perfect. He was kind, selfless, brave, wise, and also very handsome. All things one would desire in a partner. Too bad he's already married. End of chapter 10.